Good morning. This is Rich Sierra, president of the Florida Small Business Legal Center. This is episode number 7 of Business SOS. We keep plugging away and very excited about the podcast. Gotten great reviews. Just to tell you a little bit about the podcast, we talk about business issues. I ask you if you want to participate in the program, just send me a question at richsierra.com. If I select your question, and when I mention your name, I'll basically talk about the legal issue you're presenting to me. I'll send you an autographed copy of my book, Business SOS, 8 Common Legal Mistakes Business Owners Make and How to Avoid Them. So today's episode number 7, and I thought I'd switch it up a little bit and talk about some of the things that have come my way that I believe I need to make you aware of. And I think the episode will be titled Recognizing Internet Scams, or be aware of internet scams. For whatever reason now, in the last few years, I've seen some clients come to my office trying to enforce a contract. Say, I invested in this business opportunity and, basically I lost everything. I didn't receive what I promised. And what happened is I see several of those that have a very common themes. One of them dealing with Amazon stores, and has nothing to do with Amazon. It's simply the concept of that you will invest in this business, and you pay these so-called consultants something between $35,000 and $40,000, and you will open also your own credit cards, and you'll go ahead and they manage everything for you, and you can sit back and collect revenue from it. You just have to sit back, and you will basically generate revenue for the rest of your life by investing this money. And opening your own credit cards, and they'll buy the products, and they'll sell them on the internet, and you're going to be making in Amazon stores or Walmart stores, and you're going to basically can retire on that. Unfortunately, that is too good to be true. And I've seen variations of these types of businesses coming my way, and they'll have these common themes. So let's talk about, this is one of them. I'm going to mention the second one shortly. So one of them that, I want to bring attention is that red flags for you to consider if you're presented with this business opportunity. So it looks like this. So you're going to basically invest $35,000 to $40,000. And for training and consulting fees, and for a management team to manage your store. You're also going to be opening various credit cards on your own name. Okay, so you need a credit line that you need to apply for, and based on that credit line, it could be $10,000, $15,000. You go ahead and they'll go ahead and you give that credit card to this company to go ahead and basically purchase products for you. They select the products. You have no choice in the selection of products because they're the experts. They know what the public is buying, and they'll go ahead and sell these for you on your store. Sounds like a great deal. And then you have a profit margin, a profit split. It could be 30-60 or 60-40. It could be 50-50. It's very, very different types of businesses or companies are basically structuring it differently. But at the end of the day, there's going to be some type of split in the profit. Now they offer you a guarantee. The guarantee is something to the effect that if you're not generating, a certain amount of money, and I've seen anything between $30,000 a month, or you don't get $100,000 in 1 year, they'll give you all your money back in profit. If you don't generate a certain amount of profit in 1 year, you get all your money back, and there's a guarantee along with it. Sounds like a good deal. I mean, you basically invest $40,000. You're going to basically use your credit cards. You buy the stores out of the profit. The credit cards are paid off, and then you keep buying. And because they're the experts, you're paying them to do this for you. They're going to have a management team. They're going to train you in how to do this. Supposedly, you got to sit back and do nothing. And then it comes to reality check. What I've seen is basically that the credit cards are maxed out. And then what happens that they don't tell you is that when you have an online store, most likely there's going to be a holdback of a certain percentage of those purchases. And in the case of Amazon, they have a certain holdback to make sure that their returns, holdback of the funds of that you will generate as revenue, just to make sure that if there are returns, there's money to return the funds back to the customer. So a lot of clients do not realize that. And what happens is that you keep buying and buying and buying. Credit card's maxed out. The revenue that comes in is not sufficient to pay the credit card, and the credit card basically gets maxed out and then defaults. So then the company calls you back and says, you need to get a different credit card and you need to get a greater credit line or put more money. You got to pay those products that you already paid for, in essence, because you bought them up front. But you got to pay the credit card even though you have not received the revenue. In the meantime, the company has no risk. So if I tell you, in terms of a business opportunity, to recognize when somebody's asking you to invest money into a business opportunity, you got to trust your instincts. If it sounds too good to be true, probably it is. So unfortunately, the people that are offering these opportunities are very skilled. They're very skilled. They're very effective salespeople. And unfortunately, the people that are on the receiving end of these presentations have these hopes that, maybe this will be the break that they're looking for. Maybe this is the way out or whatever the case may be. But they're motivated to try to do something better for themselves. And what happens is this, basically their dreams are shattered. So by the time that it comes to my office, I see this I said, please send me the contract. And I look at the contract, and it has the guarantee, has the investment. There's usually a very, very well-written contract. And if you recall, listening to my prior episodes, a contract can be legally sound, and you can really, get yourself in a bad deal by signing a legally sound contract. So it's not whether the contract is legal, it's whether the deal is good for you. So in this case, how are we going to enforce the contract? So I begin to look at the enforceability of the contract. And what can you do? So the guarantee. So a lot of the guarantees basically say, okay, you got to wait a year in order for you to determine whether or not you can exercise the exit option, the guarantee option. You're not going to make it a year for the most part, based on the business model, because it only depends on you, your ability to fund more. The more you sell, the more it's going to cost you. They're going to hold back some money. For the most part, the merchant services will hold back some money. You're not going to have enough money to be able to continue paying. And at some point, the ability to borrow is going to be depleted. So in essence, the business will fail. It's just really that simple. But you go back and say, they didn't tell me this. I didn't hear from them. That's another thing, a second red flag. They're usually, it's all online. They have no offices. They work through different businesses. Everything is via wire transfer. So you provide the money via wire transfer to them, not through a credit card, because then the credit card you can actually dispute. Wire transfer pretty much is gone. But the money's already there. They already have it. So another way then to enforce the contract, I say, who are these people? Then I look at the companies. They operate, some of them are out of state, some of them within the state. And you look at the website, it's not a lot of information there. And then there's also a arbitration clause on the contract. And basically say, okay, if you want to pursue this and sue us, then you need to go to arbitration. It could be through the American Arbitration Association, through JAMS, but arbitration costs money. And the entry point to pursue an arbitration in some cases is higher than going to court. So when I look at that, I say, well, that means that we need to enforce this contract, we need to go to the arbitration. And I look at, pull the American Arbitration Association in this case, as an example, look at their fees, look at their, the case management fees. And a lot of my clients do not even know what the American Arbitration Association is. They do not ever heard of arbitration. They do not know that it's hiring a private judge to manage the case. And in some cases, those initial fees, depending on how much you're seeking to collect on the other side, could be as high as $5,000 just to come in and pay the AAA. That's without attorney's fees to start. So the client already lost everything. In this example, credit cards are maxed out. They have to be able to enforce this contract, they got to come up with about $10,000 out of pocket. And there's no guarantees of success simply because the contract is so well written. And then it goes into the nuance of specifically what is the profit. Did you do everything you're supposed to do? Did you get the credit lines you were supposed to get? Did you, all those things you were supposed to do? And then it becomes some discovery, becomes a battle that they will defend. So, as I mentioned before in a prior episode, contracts, the ability to enforce a contract is based on your ability of the resources that you have to enforce it. So I just want to make you aware of that. I mean, I have not seen anyone yet. By the time, nobody's going to call my office and tell me, yes, I made a lot of money through this online store, through this business model. There might be some. When people come to my office because they feel they have been misled, they feel they have been defrauded, and unfortunately, they have lost. I've seen people lose their 20 years of savings on these types of businesses. So I want to make you aware of that. A common theme that I also, when I look at this and I ask the question, did anyone help you with this contract? Did anybody help you? Did you have an attorney help you read this contract and advise you as to the risks that you're taking and the potential pitfalls of this business opportunity? And the answer is no. And I'm not here to judge anyone. I'm not here to say that was wrong. You should have gotten an attorney. Listen, everybody made mistakes. No big deal. Okay? And they realize it after the fact. And I feel very bad when that happens. But my hands are tied. So we do what we can to try to figure out a way to get some of that money back from them. But unfortunately, if the client doesn't have the resources, then it makes an uphill battle. So I want to share that pattern with you. So if you're presented with that opportunity, at the very least, give us some pause, give us some thought, call an attorney, and have somebody with the legal skills to review that contract with you and tell you, these are the risks, these are the pitfalls, this is what you might be getting into, this is the way you can lose money, it's the way you're supposed to make money, nothing is guaranteed, but at the very least you understand it. And it goes into one of my rules on contracts are that if you do not understand the contract, do not sign it. Now, a second business opportunity that I see coming up involves trucking businesses. And the model is like this. You'll invest a certain amount of money, in some cases even $100,000, for example, and you're going to buy a truck, or you can get it financed. And I'm talking about shipping truck, those large trucks that move merchandise throughout the state. So this company, what they will do is that you will basically lease the truck to them. You own it. You're responsible for maintenance. You're responsible for everything. It's your responsibility, your insurance. They will get the driver. and they'll go ahead and, basically you do the shipments with various clients that they say that they have, and you're supposed to split the profit. Sounds like a good deal. You have a truck that is working for you 24/7, and you don't have to do anything except sit back, collect the money. In theory, sounds like a good business model. Unfortunately, from what I've seen and what have been presented to me by various clients coming to me with the same topics, with the same type of business opportunity they lost money, is that it does not work that way. For what I've seen is that, first of all, there's no guarantee how the truck is going to be. It's usually a used truck. We don't know the life of that truck, how it's going to operate, the reliability of the driver, who they're asking to drive. You're basically asking somebody you do not know to manage this truck for you. And also you have to get your own insurance in this truck. The clients that I've seen have lost over $100,000 in some cases. And then usually what happens is that they don't hear back from them. Or they take a loan. They have to pay the loan. They don't know what happened with the truck. And it's usually people are usually from out of state. It's usually client from one state doing business with the company from a different state. So it makes it a little bit very difficult. Because it's online, it's easy to make those transactions, but there's no verification. Nobody took the time to go and inspect the truck. Nobody took the time to really do the due diligence in the company. And again, in many cases, the client, when asked the question, did anybody help you with this? The answer is no. And again, just buyer beware. If you see a business opportunity that sounds too good to be true, use your instincts, take a pause. Don't start wire transferring money to anybody. Just go ahead and have that evaluated by a qualified attorney who can help you and make a determination of whether or not there's a tremendous risk with this contract and whether or not something you should pursue. At the end of the day, it's your decision. We can advise you as to the risks and what the contract states. You want to pursue it anyway, that's on you. But at the very least, you know what you're getting into. A lot of my clients did not know what they were getting into. And that, unfortunately, that's what happened. But the court will enforce a valid contract, even if it's a bad contract, a bad business decision, unless it's an unconscionable contract, and that's a whole different topic altogether for a separate discussion. But the topic for this particular episode was just to make you aware that there are a lot of businesses, quote unquote, business opportunities that are on the web, that just to make you aware of that, because it can really be harmful to your financial health. This is the end of episode 7. I just want to, tell you a little about Business SOS and how to reach me. If you want to reach me, you can reach me at richsierra.com. Remember, if you send me a question for me to take a look at the question and evaluate it, if I select your question, you get a free copy of my book, Business SOS. So I'll sign it for you. If you're interested in learning more about my practice and the services that we offer in our firm, you can check out our website at floridasmallbusinesslegalcenter.com. We also have Facebook at FSB Legal. We have a YouTube channel. This podcast also, we have it on video. And if you want to see the video of the podcast, you can go to youtube.com at Richard Sierra. Instagram, we're FSB Legal. Our phone number is 866-842-5202. Remember, the Business SOS is available on Amazon, Barnes & Noble, and you can ask for your local bookstores. If you like the podcast, follow the show, and also please give us a reference, give us a rating. This also is shared by the business owners. Feel free to share it to somebody else. Also in our show notes, we have all our contact information as well. Until next week, this is Rich Sierra with the Florida Small Business Legal Center. Remember that my goal is to help you succeed.